Morning world. Thank you for joining us on Western Spring Television. Morning Spring o'clock it is. This is where we get to talk about everything that truly what's being talked about, talking about issues in the public space. And the aim is to have us converse about these issues for the betterment of our nation at the national level, at the subnational level, and all of these things, holding government office holders accountable, public office holders, speaking truth to power. We speak with eminent personality, critical stakeholders, on many issues. In as much it has to do with the public good, you get to talk about it. This is where you get to hear it. And as we say it as it is. Femi Ojo is my name, and I bring you good tidings that you cannot refuse. He's been quite very active, as they say, especially on the social media space, a very active one, talking about the political space here in Osun State and even at the national level. So much to really look into and so much to talk about. Uh, the Accord Party that welcomed, officially and publicly welcomed Governor Ademola Adeleke's deputy, Prince Kolade and the entire cabinet members 2 days ago, held their primaries, Guba primary. And of course, expectedly, Governor Ademola Adeleke will fly the flag of the Accord Party, in the next Guba election. He was elected and returned elected unopposed, actually. So, that is certain. Governor Ademola Adeleke, the incumbent governor, will be seeking re-election August 8, 2026. And of course, it remains to be seen other political parties, especially the main opposition political party in Osun State, as the All Progressives Congress, will be holding their election, Guba primaries this Saturday. By the way, the new development is that after the meeting that was convened by the party leader, the APC party leader, of course, that's the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, settling the issues here in Osun State about the disqualification of some aspirants. It seems all is good now in their midst, because all of these aspirants were at the villa to see the president, except for Yola Mishore, who wasn't there. But then all of them have agreed to that consensus candidate, and that Murudeen Oyebamiji will be the candidate of the party, and all of them agreed. Even Yolomi Shere, that wasn't at that meeting on a program yesterday, finally said he agrees with the choice of the president. The choice of the stakeholders in the party at the instance of that meeting that was convened by Mr. President. So Murudeen Oyebamiji can safely, or be in fact, that he would be the Guba candidate of, the APC, but then it remains to be seen. The primaries officially still have to be held on Saturday, December 13th. So the die will be cast on that particular day. These are the issues. Other issues have to do with the security in Nigeria, where it has been said that, the Joint Action Committee on both U.S. end and the Nigerian end, talking about the issue of killings in Nigeria and how to stem these unfortunate killings. The Congress of the U.S. have been quite active, and they have said, in as much that there is an agreement that the U.S. and Nigerian governments must work together to stem the tides and, reduce the speed of these killings, and if it's possible, bring it to its lowest, knees. They have said they are not removing their eye on the allegation of genocide against Christians, psychotic killings against Christians in Nigeria. But then it remains to be seen. On Morning Spring, we usually look at the headlines from our major dailies, and it's after that we get to converse. So right now, you are about to be better informed on the headline segment. Stay with us. Also, thank you for staying with us on Morning Spring, Western Spring Television. And of course, Timmy Topper is there. Good morning, Timmy Topper.
Good morning. Good morning to you, dear viewer. Thank you for joining us today on Morning Spring and Western Spring Television.
Right. The newspaper headline segment is next. And Tinubu, I'll start from the Nigerian Tribune actually. Tinubu insists on withdrawal of police escort from VIPs. Tinubu insists on withdrawal of police escort from VIPs. With rider, direct minister to contact IGP, get presidential clearance when necessary. Senators raise questions over directive. That is the big, bold, screaming headline from the Nigerian Tribune. Again, Tinubu insists on withdrawal of police escort from VIPs. Direct minister to contact IGP, get presidential clearance when necessary. And senators raise questions over directive. And first commercial flight lands in Ekiti Airport. Adebayo, Fayose, Fayemi, Oni, others, Lord Oyebamiji. All right, and protesting truck drivers block Ogiri for hours, causing gridlock on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Why? Possibly you get the answer on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. And alleged 2.4 billion naira fraud. Federal government arraigns ex-aviation minister Stella Odua. Alleged 2.4 billion naira fraud. Federal government arraigns ex-aviation minister Stella Odua. On the health scene, heavy energy drink may pose serious stroke risk. Doctors warn. Heavy energy drink may pose serious stroke risk. Doctors warn. For those who are taking energy drink, possibly whenever they think their natural energy is low and they need to do something to stay, alert. As those that are even, possibly addicted to it. You are being warned now that heavy energy drink may pose serious stroke risk. Doctors are warning. And insecurity, crippling economy, discouraging investors, can President lament. Insecurity, crippling economy, discouraging investors, can President laments. An army kills 2G Staff Lieutenant Kalamu in Sokoto operation. Army kills 2G Staff Lieutenant Kalamu in Sokoto operation. Remember the dreaded Bello 2G, one of his lieutenants have been killed. Now the question is, where is Bello 2J himself, the dreaded criminal and kidnapper, doctor, insurgent, and terrorist Bello 2J? All right. And just above that, Osun 2026, Tinubu meets APC governorship aspirant. Osun 2026, Tinubu meets APC governorship aspirant. Insist on party supremacy. Candidate may emerge through consensus. Omishore absent at meeting. All right, and just above that as well, there is the picture of the landing, the first commercial flight landing, in Ekiti Airport, and of course getting the ceremonial berthing, the water bathing of such airplane. All right, and there is an inscription there. Secretary to the State Government, Professor Abibat Adobiaro, Senate Leader Kwemi Bamidele, United Nigeria Airline Chairman, and other persons there commemorating, the cake cutting, commemorating the commencement of commercial flight operations at the Ekiti Agro-Allied International Cargo Airport at Ekiti on Wednesday. And water cannon salute to welcome the first commercial flight. Just like I said earlier, we hope these will be, maintained. Analyst decries structural gaps in Nigeria's financial regulatory architecture. And after revision of Q4 2025 issuance calendar, CBN auctions 750 billion naira treasury bills. And lastly, Adeleke emerges Accord Party candidate for 2026 Osun Uber race. That'll be all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune for today.
And the viewer, it says time to check out the face of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And the banner headline here says banditry, news tightens around Turkey. News tightens around Turkey. And below to the bottom strip of the paper, how family of 3 died in Lagos auto crash. Right. The lowest strip of the paper. On page 10, Rap Summon Cardoso over unremitted 16.3 trillion naira. EFCC compiles charges against Malami. 32 Nigerians deported from India. And below the nameplate, 2027, the factions heighten fear of single-party contest. 2027, the factions heighten fear of single-party contest. You can check that out on page 28 of Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Page 6 has this: police withdrawal. Tinubu directs ministers to obtain clearance for escorts. And right there, Northern Governors Forum undertakes major reform, appoints first Director General. Northern Governors Forum undertakes major reform, appoints first Director General. Details of that is captured on page 27 of Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And that's all the headlines on Daily Trust this morning.
All right. On that same Daily Trust, right, the picture there shows under the headline of Bello 2G, if you can have the Daily Trust again, banditry news tightens around 2G. And one will wonder, how many lives does a 2G have? You know, you can see the picture there, him hiding, possibly behind a rock. And he's one person that has been on the wanted list of the Nigerian state for so many years. Actually, while he keeps wreaking havoc, but maybe not recently. And we learned like 2 or 3 of his allies had been killed. So where is the man, Bello Tuche? Because the thing is, he's still controlling, they still have the power, he still has, the influence of maybe when he's not personally on the field, he must still be operating and coordinating attacks against the Nigerian state from his hiding. Right. So he needs to be neutralized as soon as possible so that it doesn't turn. You remember the case of Abubakar Shekau that was endlessly killed by the Nigerian state, technically killed, mechanically killed, finally killed, until there was news that the extermination or the neutralization or killing of Abubakar Shekau was done not by the Nigerian state. It was done by one of his own rival factions in this matter. Yeah. All right. So it is. But then we don't care. Whoever handles 2G, that is by faction group or by the Nigerian state, let every enemy of the Nigerian state perish. I think Nigerians will say amen. All right. Moving on. Next is the Guardian newspaper. Guardian for today. 54 taxes, charges account for 35% of airfare cost, stifle traffic demand. 54 taxes, charges account for 35% of airfare cost, stifle traffic demand. And there is a statistic below that: flying gets expensive. Now, flight booking, before flight booking rather, and of course the 54 taxes and fees are spread across 4 major government agencies: NCAA, FAAN, NAMA, and FRS. Right, and below that, 15.7 million passenger movement. That is, all right, part of the statistics. And beside that, excuse me, why only 6 of these levies are directly visible to passengers? The remaining 48 are silently embedded into air ticket prices, paid by airlines to government agencies and inevitably passed down to the flying public. So if charges, taxes that are flight related, goes as high as having 54 of them, who gets to pay? The final consumer. gets to pay for these things. And so that is why a flight that would ordinarily cost maybe 100,000 naira, with length is costing as high as 300,000 naira, 350,000 naira. And especially at this Yuletide, you can say the airfares might still rise. These are the issues. And moving on from that, by the way, some will say it doesn't affect them. That's it. Because I'm sure, even when I do have statistics to back it up, I'm sure half of the country or residents of this nation have never flown, if not more than half of them. Really, for real. Some have never even been in an aircraft or seen an airport before. So for some, they might not relate. But then if they cannot relate, there are some that has to do with goods and services. And if those things are being transported, transporting cargo from one point to the other by flight, if it gets so exorbitant, whatever will be the final price of that particular product, who gets to pay as well? The people who have never flown. That is as easy as that.
The fact about the last part of that sentence there, 54 taxes, charges account for 35% of airfare cost, stifle traffic demand. That particular part is where I have a problem. And talking about the fact that we've been having a mass migration out of the country, and the fact that many people, still seem to, despite the economy, still seem to have it good, they can still fly. I think that it probably is a problem for some people. I mean, the lives of the people ought to be getting better, not getting harder. And the fact that you're not stifling traffic demand, and that is where some people are flying not because they really are comfortable enough to fly all the time. They're flying because the roads are unsafe. They're unsafe because of the potholes. They're unsafe because of banditry. And that's why some people have chosen the roads. And now you're stifling, traffic demand in this regard. I think it's a terrible place we found ourselves in the country. And more often than not, we need to speak to these issues so that, Oluwamo was here talking about the fact that, Oluwamo Sunday Akere was saying that the economy was getting better. I mean, resonating, the voices that we've been hearing from economics, from analysts and all of those. And the fact that the people, every single day, they're having one economic war or the other. And for us to keep, blaring the horns of the economy is getting better, things are getting fine, and the people are having it harder every single day. I think we have contrasting views. We probably are seeing from different lenses.
Well, it's good that you added that point of, when you started, you said maybe some people still had it good, they could fly. Some are not having it good. Some are just putting whatever
it
they can put together to escape the bandits and the insurgents. So that instead of moving from point A to point B with 20,000 naira,
and when
that
you
if
have
you're unfortunate to be kidnapped or abducted, you might end up paying 5 million naira. They rather say, let them put whatever together, even if it will affect other parts of their life. If that journey is so important that they should go, they will rather fly and put 350,000 naira, go 310,000 naira, come 750,000 naira and escape. Paying 5 million or 10 million, or you might even get killed. Because payment of ransom doesn't guarantee that you'll be brought back. These are the issues. So it's not just about being, and some will say, right, especially this December, if your village or the road to your place is not that safe, better send money home so that you won't become a problem to the same home as well. Right. These are the issues. And it's not a flex, it's a problem, actually. Ekiti spent 49.7 billion naira to build cargo airport, says Oyebanji. 49.7 billion Nigeria Tinubu's naira. And federal government arraigned Stella Udua, others on alleged 2.4 billion naira fraud. Yeah. And bottom street, Buhari will account for 2015 Zaria massacre on Judgment Day. Say Zagzaki, remember that horrible shooting that happened in Kaduna. And of course, when it was said, allegedly, that the men of the Shiite, turned on the convoy of the late President Buhari then, and of course the military details, Atachi, that was with him, turned on them as well. And it was a massacre, actually, allegedly, as they say. Now, Kano lawyers petition Tinubu NSA over parallel Sharia body. And top strip, federal government set up panel on 4 trillion naira outstanding old contractors. And optimism as federal government anticipates Nigeria's exit from CPC list as country of particular concern. And Tinubu reaffirms police withdrawal from VIPs and mobilizes security, livestock reforms. That will be all from the front page of The Guardian for today.
All right, son, let's move now to Daily Sun newspaper this morning. Tinubu senators fight if a police withdrawal order. And the riders, president tells IGP to ensure full enforcement of directive. Lawmakers angry, seek exemption from order. President directs ministers to obtain presidential clearance for police escorts. I would wonder what makes lawmakers, exceptional, or what exempts you from a direct order from the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the nation.
Because I believe they are politically exposed.
Politically exposed.
I don't know, but I think for those senators and House of Reps members, I'm not sure they are going to leave them to zero security detail. But maybe if you're having 4, you'll be left with one.
Abdul Ningi was saying yesterday that his only one has been withdrawn. And he is thinking that why is it, selective? So yes,
maybe
there's some people who have just one. Or I don't know.
They have been withdrawn.
And been withdrawn.
And maybe some are still having 2.
And some are still having, well, we don't know if they have.
When you talked about being selective, that's what I mean.
Yes, I'm saying that we don't know if they have just one.
Okay.
Or if they have several, multiple, and none has been withdrawn, or some have been withdrawn, or because I don't know if they have the same security detail, but I don't think so.
Or maybe it's based on their ranking.
And he was not even speaking. He wasn't speaking about his fellow lawmakers. He was talking about VIP celebrities, and the fact that these people still have their, security detail.
For Abdul Ningi, is a ranking member of the Senate, quite experienced individual, then he should table his grievances.
That's what he did.
At the Senate?
Yes, that's what he did. And he was saying that that selective treatment was uncalled for, that was unfair, that he had no problem really, giving up his VIP detail, his security detail, but the fact that it will now become selective at the end of the day, he wasn't for it. So if lawmakers are now getting angry and seeking exemption, I'm wondering on what grounds would be your exception? Would you be seeking that exemption? And why are you, candidates for exemption? So those are just, some of the issues.
Right.
And if at a point like this, lawmakers who themselves, are sitting on our laws, making our laws, and you're having that direct order, you know what the situation of the country is. I think that this is unfortunate, again, where we have found ourselves. And so the president, the last rider to that story, Tinubu, senators fight over police withdrawal order. President directs ministers to obtain presidential clearance for police escorts. The same president who has given an order as the one who is telling ministers to obtain presidential clearance for police escorts. It's just a terrible thing. All right, to the bottom strip of the paper, insecurity, Sultan queries NIREC's role in religious tolerance, peace building. There's a write-up to that as well. Khan pushes for more collaborations. On page 8 of Daily Sun today, President furious over non-payment of contractors sets up panel to resolve payment crisis. NGE Sarap condemn harassment of journalists, activists, CSOs using repressive laws. Why federal government won't interfere in high domestic airfares. That's according to the Minister of Aviation there, Kayamo. Below the nameplate, CAC clampdown threatens 1.8 million POS operators, triggers stakeholder uproar. And to the top strip, Oshoguba, president meets aspirants, appeals for unity, consensus building. Hence the rider 1,660 delegates to pick candidates. 1,660 delegates to pick candidates come December 13. And that's on page 27 of Daily Sun newspaper right there. Those are the headlines. And there we have the pictorial evidence of the chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, FRS Zach Adedeji, and French ambassador to Nigeria, Mark Van Bastia, during the signing of a memorandum of understanding on areas of mutual interest in tax administration at the French embassy in Abuja yesterday. And the other, of course, that we've been talking about, the launching at the opening of Ekiti Agro International Cargo Airport in Ado Ekiti yesterday. Those headlines on Daily Sun.
All right, next up is the Punch newspaper. Federal government pushes for 17.89 trillion naira new loans to finance 2026 budget, with a rider borrowing just 72% as revenue dips by 8.6 trillion naira. Debt servicing to go up nearly half of 2026 earnings. Debt services to go up nearly half of 2026 earnings. So that means in 2026, whatever is being proposed that we will earn in the coming year, half of that earning will be used to service debt. That means it's more like deficit spending, in advance, actually, because that's what it means. Whatever we will make that we have not made now, we are not even in the year yet. The proposal is that thing that we are pegging down that we will earn, if it's 10 naira for 2026, half of it will be used to service debt. It's as simple and basic as that.
And
so
that's different from repayment of the debt.
Yeah,
it's
servicing.
And then I always wonder why we take it seriously when we're just seeing these things. There are things that we've emphasized. There are things that I think, and many Nigerians think that are already, in place. It's just getting to the fore. It's just like some reports that, that never make it to the face of the papers. And this is making it at this time. Just for your information, that half, nearly half of 2026 earnings will be going to debt servicing from next year.
Yeah, for a year that is yet to come. Interesting take, I must tell you. But then when you talk about debt servicing, sometimes it has to do with the...
And you have all of these fraud allegations, like the Stella Odua situation right here, talking about 2-point-something billion naira. I was looking at that, putting it beside the 49-point-something that was spent in an airport. So that's a fraction of it, and you just...
It is what it is.
We just, but all of this money, when they got, where did they go? Who keeps them? Do you even ask for the money? I was hearing that she was allowed to go on bail. And you have someone who, as a petty thief, you have someone who, all other petty, things, and you have them sentenced to life imprisonment who are just there.
Jail.
A lot of...
Well, it is just like I say, it is what it is, and it depends on what your lawyer is able to prove. Actually,
I think it depends.
But then it has to do with
what it is. It depends on your status or the kind of theft or, the kind of offense that you've committed. The lower offenses seem to attract graver consequences.
Well, when you talk about debt servicing, actually, it has to do with the payment of the interest and the principal as well, not just the interest alone. Now, moving on, U.S. Congress panel talk stuff on over Nigeria DP crises, alleged fraud. I think we've taken that earlier. Ocean 2026, yes, as well. Tinubu tackles VIP police escort abuse, showing Carfort's She's entourage. If actually you've seen that video where it said it was at an hotel, and when he was coming out, he saw something that looked like a movie set. That was, Kongi himself, Wale Soyinka. And he came out and he saw something like like a movie set. And he has to ask somebody. And who said, no, it's not a movie set. It's just the president's son and his friends. And the kind of security detail he saw at that place, like, it's according to him, like 11 or 12, security detail armed to the teeth. And he was like, what's going on? And then he left, and then he asked the driver and all of those things, and he said it is an abuse of privilege. Like, yes, family members of presidents all over the world gets to enjoy privileges. It's as basic as that. And because they are prone to attacks as well, there is a place or there is a provision from the Constitution for the guarantee of their security detail. We know. But when it looks like an individual, a president's son, is moving around and is looking like a battalion of security attaches are deployed to him and his friends, and Kungi, actually, Wole Soyinka said that's not the way it should be. In fact, he jokingly said the situation in Benin Republic,
that I was waiting.
The president could just have called Sheyi to say, go and quell it for me, in as much you have this battalion. Leave the Nigerian army alone. Yeah, it's as is. There was a time in which a particular son of a particular defense intelligence chief was known to, that guy was a footballer, you know, but he moves around like, oh Lord have mercy. These are the issues. And maybe the selective thing that Senator Abduningi,
and so they cannot really explicitly name these people. But I think when you speak like that, those who are affected, they know themselves. Well, and they begin to take their
for
cues.
Somebody like Abduningi, he's quite an elderly person. He's an experienced senator. If he will speak through to power, let him deal with it.
Well,
it's as easy as that. Now, federal government opens diplomatic talks with Burkina Faso over detained aircraft and soldiers. This is not, you know, funny again, because we learned 11 of our soldiers were detained in Burkina Faso and an aircraft grounded as well. And the question is, what are they doing there? Some talked about the Benin situation, and those who know said there is no reason for you to get to Burkina Faso. You are leaving Nigeria to go and do whatever you want to do in Benin Republic. What are you doing in Burkina Faso? Maybe somebody is not saying something, and we need to know.
And that was what people were talking about the safety of our troops when they go and they come. And so now we're having to have diplomatic talks.
Yeah. And you know, the government in Burkina Faso is a military one.
As well.
There is a way they do their thing. All right, bring back our guys and let them be questioned. Who has ordered? Because till now, who ordered the withdrawal of the troop in Kebbi is still under the wraps. The last we heard is they were in Abuja at the defense headquarters. They were being quote unquote grilled. See now, even if it's a chicken you are grilling, it should be done.
Well, Christopher Musa spent how many days there? At least about a week now. And we're still expecting results or report from the investigation into the withdrawal of troops and then into the killing of
General
Uba.
Brigadier Uba. Yeah, because he made that promise at the Senate. And so he should let us know. Even though some will say, does he have power over that? It is the defense headquarters that is handling the... I know, but it's the defense headquarters that is, you know, handling the matter.
Will just oversee
and the defense headquarters, I'm not sure.
Things.
Well, he has made that promise. He should fulfill.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That will be all from the Punch on the headlines this morning. We take this quick break. When we return, we speak to Aegis Ademola Adeleke. He is the candidate, Guba candidate of the Accord Party. And it seems Munirudu Oyebanji will be the candidate of the APC. Is the Daika? We'll know after now. Stay with us.
As the break with facts and clarity. Our news are reported